Have you ever wondered which Bach Flower remedy you might resonate with most right now? Because today we're going to do something a little bit different and a little more fun. I'm going to describe 3 emotional patterns that many sensitive people experience. And as you listen, I simply want you to notice which one feels most like your life right now, and then just pick that one you resonate with most. Don't overthink it. Don't try to choose the correct answer. Simply listen and notice what touches something inside of you. And at the end of this video, I'll reveal, of course, which Bach Flower remedy I chose for each pattern and explain why, so you not only discover a remedy that may resonate with you, but perhaps you'll understand yourself a little bit more deeply as well. And honestly, that is exactly where healing begins. Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm a Bach Flower practitioner and someone who has personally walked this healing path myself. And before we begin, if you feel stuck in your healing process and you would like some guidance on where to start, I would love to invite you to my free live masterclass, Move Past What's Been Keeping You Stuck. In this free class, I'll give you the tools, the knowledge, and your first step forward in your own healing journey. And if you like more personal guidance, I also work one-on-one with clients from all over the world for a 90-day period. You'll find all of my links in the description and in the pinned comment. Now let's begin. So take a deep breath and simply notice which theme feels most like your current season of life. Theme number 1. You love deeply, sometimes perhaps so deeply that you carry other people's pain as if it were your own. You worry constantly about the people you love, your children, your husband, your wife, your parents, your friends. And perhaps people have always described you as caring, compassionate, and very sensitive, and they would be right. But inside you often carry fears that nobody really sees. You imagine worst-case scenarios. You wonder whether everyone is safe. You think ahead, you check, you worry, and when someone you love suffers, you suffer too, immensely. Perhaps you've always been the person who worries, the person who carries everyone emotionally, the person who cannot simply switch it off. Sometimes you know you're worrying too much, but letting go almost feels irresponsible because perhaps somewhere deep inside, you've come to believe that if you stop worrying, you're somehow not loving enough. Theme number 2. People know you as the strong one, the dependable one, the one who keeps going. When life becomes difficult, you don't ever collapse. You push through even when you're exhausted, even when you're overwhelmed, even when you secretly wish someone would say, "Hey, sit down, I'll carry this for a while." But often nobody does, and so you continue and you tell yourself, just one more day, just one more thing, or after this I'll rest. But somehow there is always one more thing. People admire your perseverance, but very few people see how tired you really are. Perhaps you've been so strong for so long that you no longer know how to do anything else. Maybe asking for help feels very uncomfortable. Maybe resting makes you feel guilty. And perhaps somewhere inside you've started believing that your worth comes from being useful, dependable, and strong. But what if strength also included rest? Theme number 3. You feel guilty easily. Perhaps someone around you is unhappy and somehow, even if they never blamed you, you feel responsible. Maybe your child is struggling and you wonder, did I do something wrong? Maybe someone you loved became sick and you still think, I should have noticed sooner. Perhaps a relationship ended years ago and even today you wonder whether you could have saved it somehow. Maybe someone apologizes to you, yet somehow you end up being the one saying sorry. You are usually very understanding towards other people. You comfort them, you forgive them, you remind them that they did the best they could. But when it comes to yourself, you are far less compassionate. Sometimes people tell you you're being too hard on yourself, and perhaps they're right. Because even after doing your best, there is often a quiet voice inside that says, I should have done more. I should have done better. I should have known better. I could have prevented this. You take responsibility very seriously, which is beautiful. But sometimes you carry responsibilities that never even truly belong to you. And perhaps somewhere very deep inside, you've learned to believe that if something goes wrong, It must somehow be your fault. And no matter how much you do, it never quite feels like enough. So which theme resonated with you most? Theme number 1, worried about others' well-being. Theme number 2, pushing through even when you're extremely tired and overwhelmed. Or theme number 3, feeling overly guilty. And by the way, if you found yourself identifying with more than one pattern, don't worry, most people do. Human beings are beautifully complex. And if none of these patterns speak to you, well, even better, then you probably need none of these remedies. So here you can pause the video for a little moment if you need to, or you can go back to the descriptions, listen again, and now I'm going to reveal the remedies. So if you chose theme number 1, the remedy I chose for this pattern is red chestnut. Red chestnut is the Bach Flower remedy for people who worry excessively about the people they love. These are often some of the most loving people you will ever meet. Mothers, fathers, grandparents, partners, caregivers, people with beautiful hearts. The problem is not that they care too much. The problem is that love has slowly become mixed with fear. And many red chestnut people feel their loved one's pain almost as if it were their own. They suffer when others suffer. They anticipate problems. They imagine worst-case scenarios. And although their intentions come from love, this constant worrying can become exhausting for themselves and for others. Very often beneath red chestnut is an unconscious belief. If I stop worrying, I'm not loving enough. Or if I stop worrying, people aren't safe or everything collapses. But worrying and love are not the same thing. Love trusts, love supports. Love stands beside the other person without carrying their entire life on its shoulders. As red chestnut begins to work, many people notice that they feel calmer, that they can love without controlling, that they can support without absorbing, and they can remain compassionate without becoming consumed by fear. And perhaps most importantly, they begin to understand that everyone has their own path to walk. If you chose theme number 2, the remedy I chose for this pattern is oak. Oak is one of my favorite remedies because it reminds us that even the strongest trees need seasons of rest. Oak people are fighters. They rarely complain. They keep going no matter what. When life becomes difficult, they simply push harder. Others admire them, depend on them. And because they are so capable, people often forget that they have needs too. Many oak people secretly feel that resting is lazy, that asking for help is weakness, that they simply have to keep carrying everyone. Is also very egrimony. But eventually, even the strongest person becomes tired, and sometimes the body begins asking for the rest that the mind refuses to allow. Behind oak, there is often a hidden belief. My worth comes from being strong, but your worth does not depend on how much you carry. Your worth does not depend on how useful you are. You do not have to earn your right to rest. As oak begins to work, many people discover something very beautiful. Strength is not only found in endurance, sometimes strength is found in surrender. Sometimes strength is found in saying, I need help. And sometimes strength is simply allowing yourself to stop. If you chose theme number 3, the remedy I chose for this pattern is pine. Pine is a remedy for guilt and self-blame. These are often very kind, conscientious people who genuinely want to do good. People who take responsibility very serious. People who care deeply, but sometimes they take responsibility for things that were never theirs to carry. They blame themselves when others are unhappy. They replay the past. They wonder whether they could have prevented things. And even when others forgive them, they struggle to forgive themselves. Behind pine, there is often a hidden belief, if something goes wrong, it must somehow be my fault. But responsibility and self-condemnation are not the same thing. You are allowed to be human. You are allowed to make mistakes. You are allowed to have limits. You are worthy of compassion too. As pine begins to work, many people become gentler with themselves. They begin to say, I did the best I could. And sometimes that simple sentence becomes incredibly healing. So tell me, which theme did you choose? Number 1, number 2, or number 3? I genuinely love to know, so let me know in the comments. And remember, this little exercise is simply an invitation for self-reflection. One emotion alone never tells the whole story, but sometimes one small insight becomes the beginning of something much bigger. Thank you so much for being here with me. I loved making this video, and I'll see you in the next one.